Okay, these are the Droids Vintage Collection figures. You've got C-3PO, R2-D2 and Boba Fett. They just arrived from Star Action Figures. The C-3PO seems to be quite plentiful, but the others seem a bit scarce at the moment, but I'm sure. I don't know if you're going to be able to buy these in store in the UK, but we'll see. So these are done in the sort of 1985 style for the Droids figures. So the best thing we should do is look at the actual guidebook and see how they looked in the old days. So these are the Droid cards. You could get three types of cards. You could get the US card, you could get the Canadian card, and the Brazilian Gaslighty card. So this one's the back of the Canadian, that's the US card back, and that's the US Thal Jobin, which I do have that one. So yeah, so there was about 12 figures in the line. You got Thal Jobin, Kiamol. So you got some characters that were exclusive to the cartoon shows, some that were in the movies as well, like the Boba Fett, the A-Wing pilot. The C-3PO and R2 were recoloured figures or redecored. The hard ones to get are Tig from, Size from, the two droids, Boba Fett's incredibly tough, and the A-Wing. So the ones I've got are Thal Jobin, Jantosh, Kiamol, R2 on the Brazilian card, Uncle Gundy on the Canadian, George Dusat on the US card. I've got two of those on the US card, plus the Brazilian card, and Keziban, who turns out to be a prince. So there were plans to do more figures, but the line didn't sell well, and you know, Star Wars was sort of dying on the vine, so to speak. So you know, same with the Ewoks. But the Droids line is far tougher to collect, and you've got the Brazilian Blix as well, which is incredibly tough figure to find. So these are the carded figures. So Jantosh, Kiamol. I think the last carded one I got was Jantosh. I already had him on card, but I got a graded one. So Kiamol, got her on the Canadian card. The Canadian cards use generic cards, so that's a Canadian card there. They just use a single card. There's the R2 C-3PO, so it does use the same image as on the new card, which is kind of nice. But those two droids now, these two are really tough to find. Size from, Tig from. I just earlier, about a couple of months ago, I got the coin for Tig from, graded loose. There's Uncle Gundy, George Dusat, Keziban, and the incredibly rare Vlix on the Brazilian card. I mean, I've got George Dusat and R2 on the Brazilian card. I mean, those Brazilian cards are tough to find now. Got some vehicles that came out at the same time. So it's a nice little subgroup to collect, and they're highly sought now. I mean, for a long time, maybe 20 years ago, you could get the whole lot for quite reasonably, but now, no way. I mean, the Boba Fett's always been tough on that card. And that's the image they've used on the new card. So let's check the R2's got, that's the Canadian card. So the R2 must have the US image. Ignore these prices, these are so out of date. But they are quite a nice. So I've managed to collect about half the set. There's no chance of getting Boba Fett now. He's sells for a massive amount. The A-Wing's tough. So the two Froms are hard. The C-3PO is tough. This is the R2. And Vlix is one of the rarest figures going. So, but it's nice that they've done this in the vintage collection. They've put out 3 modern figures on these sorts of cards. What's nice about them, they came with coins, just like the Power of the Force. So There's C-3PO. He's the Black Series Vintage Collection C-3PO, just repainted, so he's the same figure as this. The one with the removable panels. Now in yellow, sort of Droids deck paint scheme. But it's a good figure, this one, even though it's a bit small. So they're the same figure. Then there's the R2-D2. I'm sure that must be the artwork they used on the US card. It's got the 50th logo there, warning at the bottom. Come with the coins. I don't know which R2 this is. This would have been one that's been issued before. It's just been repurposed, decoed in the sort of droid style. And then Boba Fett looks amazing. He's done in this sort of animated style. I mean, with the original one, they just didn't redo it in this sort of paint colour. They just had the normal Boba Fett figure from the 80s on the card. But great artwork. Looks amazing. There's the coin as well. So all three figures come with coins. Yeah, they look great. It's a nice set to get. So with that C-3PO, let's see if we can hold it up to get a good look at the two. You can see it's the same figure. It's just been done in this sort of yellow and brown, light brown paint with blue for the interior. Very cool figure. And then the R2 could be a repurposed earlier release figure like this, just done in a sort of simplified colour scheme. But they do look nice. I'm glad I picked up this set. So I think initially I thought I ordered 2 Fetts. I think most online retailers have sold out of the Boba Fett. So the chances of getting a second one will be quite, But what we can do now is look at the 3 carded figures, and have a good look at them and waffle on about them a bit. But they are nice. They're very nice. I mean, the coins look great. So, yeah, nice. Figure's not too bad. I mean, the biggest drawback of this figure is it's so small. But they're the same figure, definitely. Not bad. I mean, the card features great artwork, though. Brilliant. Adventures of R2-D2, and this just is exactly how it was on the cards. So, protocol droid and translator, feisty maintenance droid, and notorious bounty hunter. They look great. Card's got lots of warnings on the back and that timeline. Droids 1983. The original figures came out in 85. It's a nice card back though, I really like it. So if you want a really nice slice of vintage history, these cards are a great way to go. But some of the lesser characters like Kia Mole or Keziban or Uncle Gundy, they're a bit more affordable if you so desire to buy a vintage carded Droids figure. And they're probably more readily available in the States. Here's the R2-D2. Great looking figure. This is obviously an earlier release done up in that sort of droid style. There he is. Great artwork there. The Adventures of R2-D2 and C-3PO. There's the coin. I'm not sure if these coins are as sharp as the original vintage ones. The sculpt, they do seem a bit soft. But it's a nice addition, nice look to the figure. I mean, the only other vintage collection figure they've done with a coin is the yak face that came with the barge. And then the next one is the Boba Fett. This is the VC186, just done in this sort of animated style. If you can remember back to 2007 with the 30th anniversary collection, they did the animated Boba Fett. So that'd be a great comparison for someone to do. So this is the second time this figure's been done out in this sort of colour. Artwork on this card is amazing. That's the Boba Fett in the animated style. I mean, the original of this is such an expensive piece now. It just goes for a huge amount. I mean, Boba Fett tax and beyond. Just a great figure. I think the earlier Boba Fett, the 2007, was a, and that would have come with a coin as well, that was a repainted VOTC Boba Fett. So that and this would look quite similar together. There's this rifle, all in black. Just looks great. Artwork looks great. Yeah, so I highly recommend these three figures. You've got the Boba Fett, he looks amazing. The R2-D2, another blinding figure on the card. Great artwork as well. I think a lot of the appeal of these cards is that, you know, how different they look to the more typical Empire, Star Wars, Return of Jedi cards. You know, they're quite striking with all the use of blue at the top with the Droids logo. The great animated style artwork. Just looks really good. And then you've got the C-3PO here. It's amazing. The fact that they came with coins, the US and Canadian issues at least. And yeah, I mean, I think the popularity of the vintage figures is definitely on the up and up. So yeah, great series of figures by Kenner Hasbro. So I think you need to at least buy one example of each. I doubt if they'll do any more, but you never know. They might, if these sell really well, they might do some more characters, like, especially ones they've got like that. They haven't got. Well, I guess they have a A-wing pilot they could use, which would be, or the body, and they could just put the head on, a new head. They could use the Mon Calamari A-wing pilot body, or it shouldn't be too hard to knock up an A-wing pilot. But these are great characters to choose. You've got the two droids and Boba Fett, so they just look great together. So yeah, highly recommend this set of figures. They look amazing on card. In better light. I mean, the Boba Fett just looks great. Highly recommend that figure. Card art looks amazing. The R2 certainly lacks the charm of the vintage figure. The simplicity with the sort of animated style sticker on it. But it still looks great. The artwork is amazing. Very colourful, very vibrant. And then C-3PO and R2 there again. Brilliant. So these are just great figures. Highly recommend them. They look amazing. Okay, so time to say cheers, goodbye. Hopefully have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. Cheers, bye.